For what purpose does the gentleman from California seek recognition?
To strike the last word.
The gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
The rapidity with which this process is moving, we might be dealing with the transportation rather than the energy and water appropriations. And therefore, my amendment apparently passed without an opportunity to present it. We just heard our colleague from Oregon speak to the issue of flooding. I represent 200 miles of the Sacramento River, yet this bill ignores the need for this Congress to protect human life. This bill spends $7,670 million on nuclear weapons and cuts the money for levee protection. Human life is at risk in my district, and yet this bill ignores the reality of flooding. When a flood occurs in my district, it's not in the summertime, it is not warm water, it is very, very cold water, and thousands of lives are at risk. Yet the majority cannot seem to find the money necessary to protect human life, but plenty of money for nuclear weapons. Is this the priority? $7.6 billion for nuclear weapons and not enough money to protect the lives of the citizens of this nation from real danger, real floods, is really going to happen, gentlemen and ladies of the majority. The Corps of Engineers budget is decimated, and for the last 3 years we've not been able to get one new project, even though human life's at risk. Is that the priority? Apparently human life is not. Projects in my district. The Hamilton project for the last 3 years has been in the President's budget, yet no new starts prohibitions place us in a dangerous situation in my district. Apparently, we need more nuclear weapons, but not more levees. Is that the majority's position? $7,600 million for nuclear weapons and not enough for a $15 million project to protect the citizens of Hamilton County, Hamilton City. You should be ashamed that that's your priority. This particular appropriation bill is an abomination. It is a disgrace. It is a representation of the wrong priorities. But yet that's what you want to do. I suppose if this had not been a railroad and you were moving things so fast, I would have had an amendment opportunity to simply say that new starts, vital to the life and well-being of citizens in this nation, should be in this bill. But I didn't have a chance to do that because of the railroad you're operating here. Run it as you will, but at the end of the day, there will be human life at stake, at risk, and quite likely, floods in the 200 miles of Sacramento River and its tributary that I represent. This is wrong-headed. This is wrong. Your priorities could not be worse. You should be ashamed that this is the priority you put. Levees will not be built. Human life will be at risk. But presumably that's what you want.
Will the gentleman yield? I wonder if for those that don't come from your part of the country, Congressman Garamendi, talk about what it's like to face that possibility of non-repair of the facilities that you are discussing.
Well,
they'll direct their comments through the chair.
I'd be happy to address my comments to the chair. Madam Chair, the priorities that are in this bill are dead wrong. Natomas in Sacramento, 20-foot potential water in the wintertime with the water temperature somewhere in the 40 to 50 degree range. Perhaps human life can last 10 minutes, maybe. But that's the priority. Hamilton City, the same situation. Yuba City, Marysville, the same situation. A winter storm in California and a levee break is deadly. This is not New Orleans where you can stay in the water for a few hours. This is cold water temperature. And yet, Madam Chair, the majority's position is to build more nuclear weapons and not to build levees. Okay. When the flood occurs, and it will, what will happen? Could we not take just $100 million out of the nuclear weapons account and put it into the levees account, into the Army Corps of Engineers? Apparently not.
Gentleman's time's expired. For what purpose does the gentleman from California seek recognition?
Strike the last word.
Gentleman's recognized for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today in support of the energy and water appropriation bills on the floor, which I think appropriately reflects the need to spend taxpayer dollars responsibly.